and I played a character called Wretched Ross, and my friend Mark played a character called Jamal. I just didn't feel comfortable putting my work out there. I didn't even see it as work. Do you know what I meant? I was at such a primitive age that I didn't even see filmmaking as like a proper career path. I'm gonna campaign to legalize guns in Scotland so I can shoot you. And that's like what the whole episode's about. And then like Raven Simone just like appears. Like she's just there. And she's just like petting the dog like really aggressively. And she's like really into this dog. Don't have beef with a Joker.
There you go. How we doing, folks? Welcome back to another episode of Seasonal Discussions. We'll skip past all the usual, it's my face, it's my voice, because you're all fed up of hearing it by now. I can't believe that we've been going for as long as we have. We've done quite a few episodes now. We're into double digits. How on earth did we manage that? Because all of you have been engaging and watching and liking the content. If you're new to the stuff, don't forget you can click like on the video on YouTube. You can give us a follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or a subscription on YouTube. All three options are free. There will be a link to do so down below. As well as links to that, you will also find links to the work of the wonderful Ross Milne, who's joining us today. How do, Ross?
Hello, Smack. I'm not bad. I'm pretty good. I'm very excited to be here. I've never done one of these before. I guess I've just never been considered important enough.
You're
but
usually
now,
on the other side of the camera. That's the issue.
Yeah, that is true.
Although we'll get into like the details of it. You're a lecturer at North East Scotland College, but you're here because you're an independent filmmaker as well.
I am, yes.
And a creative brain that just keeps going and going and going. How long have you been making films, content, documentaries, mockumentaries?
Oh, Christ. That's the question, man. Like, I don't know, like, define, like, making these sort of...
Okay, officially putting content out and saying, this is what I do. I am a filmmaker. I am a creative individual.
Okay, so to answer that question, I started this YouTube channel in Peterhead Academy with my friend Mark Scott, who is in all my films. I always just make sure to put him in an embarrassing role.
Fair.
Because it's what you do with your best friend.
Yes, that's what they're there for.
They don't need their dignity anymore. But yeah, we did this show that was like a parody, or it wasn't even like a parody. It was just a straight up rip off of Filthy Frank. And I played a character called Wretched Ross.
Yeah.
And my friend Mark played a character called Jamal. Which,
As you do.
As you do. And basically the series was just this like series of YouTube videos that was just me and my mate Mark just running around, just like completely like embarrassing ourselves. And, you know, talking about outdated, man, that stuff's not aged well. Like,
so how long ago was that? When did that?
Oof. This would have been about 2015, 2016.
And is it still on the internet for people to find today?
Do you know what? If you want to include some clips from it, I will. I mean, be careful what clips you use, man.
I'll just hunt down the title cards off of YouTube clips or something. I'll find them there.
You know, like they are. Some of them are available, yeah. Because like we were proud of them, and like they're so important to us because they were so formative in our like filmmaking career. And yeah, they're really jank and really not okay in any way, but it's still a sense of accomplishment because it was the first thing we did. It was an ongoing series, Peterhead Academy original, I guess. And do you know what was really nice about it? We probably did about maybe 20 videos.
Yeah.
Maybe 25 through the course of like 2, maybe 3 years. And that progressed from academy to college. And like people in school, like, even though like some of them were kind of just like making fun of us for doing them, some people were like, no, they're genuinely really funny. And that kept us going. And that was the first time like we'd ever done anything like that. Because we'd made films before, but we'd never like released them or anything. Because, you know, we were pretty self-conscious and I just didn't feel comfortable putting my work out there. I didn't even see it as work. Do you know what I meant? I was at such a primitive age that I didn't even see filmmaking as like a proper career path.
Yeah.
Put out Fedora of Ties, which got like some like people interacted with it in the same way you're talking about, like people engaging with it, people laughing with it and at it, which was fine, you know, like I don't care. And just like the audience reaction, just the cringing, like the people being like, what the hell are you doing with those videos? Like just made my day. And it kind of made me think, we can work from here, like me and Mark at least. We can like keep developing this.
Yeah.
And that turned into over the course of a few years, you know, I made my like stuff at uni, like the films yet to make for uni, but I was never really enjoying them. And I never saw them as like the actual films I wanted to make. I just saw them as I need to do this to get a grade. So once I finished RGU, me and Mark, we kind of decided that we wanted to do like a short film. And we decided like on just doing like a little mockumentary, because that's kind of what Fedora of Ties was. So we made 2 shorts called Getting Involved, which are like this show about a psychopathic like documentary producer called Ross, who tries to come up with like creative ways to engage the youth in politics.
Yeah.
So he uses like pornography, he uses like, Mark plays a character in the show, and my character's like very angry at him, and he says, I'm going to campaign to legalize guns in Scotland so I can shoot you. And that's like what the whole episode's about. So like that gives you a sense for like what the tone is for the series.
It sets the tone straight off the bat.
Yeah, but I would say that is when I proper felt like a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Because we had the crew, we had a little release, we had a film festival run, and it was one that people really did engage with.
Yeah.
And it really did well. And I think when that came out, I'd never like won an award for anything before, you know, like I was never necessarily like top of the class or anything like that. And just to like get best mockumentary comedy or best first time comedy director just like blew my mind.
Yeah.
In the long run, it doesn't mean much, because like those awards on Film Freeway, they're more for your personal sort of like...
That does mean a lot, though. That means a lot to your progression as a filmmaker.
That's it.
You've got that confidence behind you now.
Yeah, it's a lot to... it should mean a lot to you.
Yeah.
You should never think, oh, I'm going to use this to like further my career. It will help maybe slightly, but like realizing that you put in the effort and some people liked it enough to be like, no, you're deserving of this award is really nice. And I love just submitting to film festivals, just... Because some of them, they're just so strange. Like, they're like, Getting Involved had a run in like a string of like Indian film festivals that I didn't really know about. Because like,
Probably not what you envisioned when you made it either.
No. Like, my mate was just like, yeah, I logged into Film Freeway and uploaded it to these like free festivals. And it was just like winning a ton of like Indian film festivals. And I was like, damn, we've made it. Like, there could be like a Bollywood version of Getting Involved out there. That would be amazing.
Someone's done a parody of your parody of a mockumentary of something. It's just some form of parody mockumentary dark hole that just everything disappears into.
I mean, it's quite cool, isn't it, to think about? I like that. But
the Getting Involved multiverse.
Yeah, man. I mean, everything's got a multiverse now. You might as well
Make the most of it.
But like getting those like awards and stuff, and actually working with a crew, directing actors, scheduling. That's when I was like, okay, you need to take this seriously, because you're quite good at it. You enjoy doing it. And the main thing for me is like the people who are working with me, that they enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
Like, it should just be like, I'm not saying it should, like, every filmmaking process should be fun and laughter. Like, it really shouldn't. It really depends on like the content of the film.
Yeah.
Or just like what the production circumstances is. But everyone, like all the projects we've worked on, we've always had like a great time.
Yeah.
We've never had like a truly disastrous production. We've had issues and stuff, but you know, the same people keep coming back time and time again to help out behind the scenes. And those people are people that really do need a spotlight as well, because they're great.
It must speak volumes for your approach as a whole, though, because if you're not doing something that people feel is worthwhile, they're not going to want to come back and be involved in future projects that you're doing.
Exactly. And like, Mark's got no choice, obviously. Like, he's just going to be
he's
there.
He's tied in now, whether he likes it or not.
He's tied, yeah. I mean, I've got a new film called Oldborough coming out, which you know about, but like, Mark's role in Oldborough, my God, you're going to have to like get some bleach on those pupils, man. He's doing some things. But like, sorry, where was I? I don't remember.
Film festivals, awards, happiness, people come back working on projects. People
working with you. If you've got like a crew that likes to work with you time and time again, that's a good thing. Yeah. And we always like to bring new people in as well. On Oldborough, for example, I'm a lecturer, yeah, as you said, at the college. And there were some students who, when they were just about to graduate, I'd looked at like what they'd made and how they handled themselves professionally and personally. And I was like, there's not a lot of feature film opportunities in Aberdeen. And I asked them, like, listen, would you like to come on board to help out? And that was Kieran Williamson, who's was one of my students as well. Sam, who's a great local filmmaker. Sam McKenzie.
Yes.
Great Sam. We all love Sam and his chocolate milk. That's his like thing apparently.
That's his glued it. Yeah. I've heard the fun stories about Sam.
But yeah, those those two students, they came and helped out and they had an amazing time and they performed brilliantly. Kieran was in the beanbag costume for a majority of the shoot, which out of context sounds like pretty strange.
It kind of fits with Kieran, if I'm honest. From the conversation we've had with him, that it's the least surprising thing I would hear connected to him.
Fair enough. But I've got to be honest, like Sam McKenzie, man, he was our script supervisor, which is like one of the most like underrated roles on a film production. Keeping in check with like continuity and stuff like that. It's amazing, and he did spectacular job. Like he really, really did an amazing job. And like that was like all his own ability. I just told him like, this is what you've got to do. And just seeing people who like you started teaching when they were like a lot younger and to see them progress and how like much their work and their work ethic has matured is amazing. And those were two great examples. But like I'd love to honestly just like spotlight like Mark, who always helps me with my films, no matter what. His mum, Sierra, always helps. Scott Christie, have you heard of him?
Heard of, yes.
So a local Aberdeen comedian. He's one of my best friends. He is always in my films, and he always plays this character called Scott Christie. He always just plays himself.
It must be a role he's literally born to play.
Exactly. And those guys, like, they're just with me through everything. And I can't, like, would not be making films if it wasn't for either their like just support or like their friendship in general. Like really does help me be creative. And
there's that freedom to be like, these guys trust me.
And even Mark's getting to the point where he's like, well, I embarrassed myself a lot on camera last time. You've got to really come up with something new this time to embarrass me. And it's like, oh, that's a challenge.
Challenge
Mark.
accepted. Thank you.
I was like, why like suggest that to me? Because
it's not gonna. It's just like you're just literally waving the red flag, and now I'm gonna go for it. But the opportunities that you're providing to likes of the students that you've come through, so Sam, Kieran, even working with Mark. Do you think that's something that you were perhaps lacking for you? Because you're still relatively young yourself. You're not nearly pushing up the greys like some of us are on this bloody side of things in the creative industry. But you've done a lot, and you're now giving a lot back to the community. Do you think that's something that was maybe lacking a bit when you were coming through?
Yeah, absolutely. You need to constantly offer opportunities to people who are wanting to come into this industry. You need to. It's not going to grow. It's going to be stagnant. And that was kind of like the issue when I was like growing up in Aberdeen. Well, I'm from Peterhead, but I was growing up when I was doing films in Aberdeen when I was first starting. There was really not a lot of people offering collaboration, and there was not a lot of people offering opportunities. There was like obviously like professional internships and stuff for the BBC or whatever, but that's not really like everyone's applying for them. You need to, like, if you're working on, like, independent film and stuff, like, you need to be reaching out to people who are just starting out in the industry because you never know where they're going to progress. They're going to learn a lot from your production. You never know how much they can help out. That's the thing as well. If you don't, like, invest in the future, there's not going to be a future. And that's kind of what I looked at. And I more just chose Kieran and Sam because they were great. Do you know what I mean? But it also happened to be... They are young filmmakers who are trying to make it in the industry, and we need to sort of like provide as much opportunities as possible. And when I was starting up, it was you would get the occasional thing, but not a lot. To be honest, and that was quite upsetting.
I think it's the same for a lot of the creative industries in Aberdeen. Obviously, you come at it from sort of the creativity side with that. You've got likes of Evelyn at Nescall, who's very audio-based, who I picked up a lot from. I'm very audio-based. My son's web-based and game-based. There just doesn't seem to be a lot of creative opportunity in Aberdeen. But I think there is... Sorry, I should rephrase that. There is a lot of creative opportunity in Aberdeen, but it's not advertised very much.
Yeah,
there's a lot of independent stuff actually happening here that so many people don't even know about.
That's a thing, and it's about... I don't want to say like marketing yourself because that sounds a bit,
Yeah.
But you do kind of have to an extent, like what you're like showcase what you're working on.
Yeah.
Do you know, like you never like put it onto Facebook groups, put it on YouTube, Vimeo, all that good stuff. Because Aberdeen, like we were kind of talking just before the podcast started, Aberdeen is never going to be necessarily the film hub that Glasgow is.
Yeah.
It's just not, and that's actually not a bad thing.
Oh God, no.
Aberdeen can be its own thing.
Yep.
And we need to start like actually reckoning with that and being like, listen, Glasgow's got all that infrastructure. It's much bigger.
Yep.
Hollywood productions are going to be coming there. Lots of shows are going to be shooting there. It's unfortunate. It's obviously really unfortunate that it's all going there. But that leads to artists in Aberdeen being hungry and creating really interesting shit. Like, to be fair, like it is.
You're right.
It's awesome.
It's 100% spot on because it's that creative art. Like we do a lot to educate creatives in Aberdeen, but we don't do a lot to keep them in Aberdeen. It's like we're like a feeder club for a football team. We're the lower leagues that train up amazing people and then send them off to the big leagues to do something else. And it's really, for me, frustrating because Aberdeen as a city is changing. It's changed. It's not the same oil-based, energy-based thing that it was before. It needs to diversify itself, and creativity is one of the aspects that it can do that.
Yeah.
Because there is so much potential up here that, like, again, just look at the small things that have been made up here before and add in the Hollywood things.
Yeah.
There's Tetris filmed up here, what was it, recently, I say recently, within the last 5-6 years, I think it was.
Yeah, Tetris was 2021, I think it was shooting here.
So there is opportunity there. There are things in Aberdeen that places can come up and use and be effective with, but there's just not enough done to...
What's interesting you mentioned Tetris because that was directed by John Baird, who's from Peterhead.
Yep.
And that, like, although, like, he didn't get to film all of Tetris here, obviously.
Yeah.
He did what he could here. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. And that's more of what we could be looking at.
Yep.
Especially for, like, the bigger productions. Do you know what I mean? Like, if... Just film as much as you can here. Because there's a lot of beautiful locations here. It's a very unique-looking city. And I think just taking advantage of that.
Yep.
I think we really do need to be taking advantage of the look of Aberdeen in film. It's very grey, but it's like, I don't know, no other city really looks like it.
Oh, God, yeah. It's one of those... I play games quite a lot. I play GeoGuessr quite a bit. GeoGuessr, but it's so weird that if you play Scottish-based GeoGuessr and try to work out the cities, Aberdeen is the one city that as soon as it pops up, everyone knows it's Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Like, if you know Scottish cities and what they look like, you know Aberdeen. You could maybe look at a bit of Glasgow and go, oh, is that Glasgow? Is it Edinburgh?
Yeah.
Is it here? Aberdeen is so unique in its visual appeal. Like, I mean, your colleague, my former lecturer, Sarah's a massive proponent of Aberdeen's visuals that it can tell with the harbour area, some of the old tenement blocks, how it looks. It's a unique city. Why don't we use more of that? Why don't we offer more of it?
That's exactly what we've got to be doing. And, like, that's what I did, not to, like, plug my own thing, but that's what we did with, like, Oldborough. You know, we shot that film is all in negative. If you would like a clip to play, you can play one now.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll add that in over the top of this because I've seen one little bit of it that you showed at a recent thing, and I was going to get into it anyway, but we can get into it now while we're here. What inspired that as a thing? Because it's not shot in negative, is it? It's shot normal, but then you've color graded it to negative. How is that?
Some of it is shot negative, but most of the color grading was most of the negative was done in post production.
Yeah,
and I really don't know, like that. I love digital filmmaking.
Yeah,
like I completely understand why people love film. I love film as well. Huge fan of it. But digital, man, there's some stuff you can do with digital technologies, digital filmmaking technologies that you just can't really do with film.
Yeah.
And with Oldborough, we just try to take advantage of it, shoot it in ways that we necessarily couldn't if we were doing it in a more traditional manner.
Yeah.
I know not a lot of places use film now, but I more mean like we'd have like weird multicam setups, which is not typically how you shoot a feature.
Yeah.
But like I'm a big Danny Boyle fan, and I just was like, you know what, let's just try it and stitch it together.
Yeah.
We were shooting like on like Sony's, but we also had like a lot of like iPhone and Samsung shots. We've been doing like our own like bullet time sort of like janky.
I was going to say the big rigs.
Yeah, like we've got like some like really weird stuff that we're trying to take advantage of, and we're trying to shoot films and try to present them in a new way.
Yeah.
And the negative look, I'd never seen a film that was all a negative before. Might be a good reason for that. But, I thought, I'll give it a try.
See how it goes.
Because once we started shooting it and we just saw how it made Aberdeen, Peterhead, and just the Shire and the city in general, how it made them look. Yeah. We were just like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And we all had sort of like a different sort of perspective on what the negative look meant. And that was like really encouraging as well. Like the fact that there was like different almost like interpretations of why that was being used.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, damn, people are interpreting my work. That's wild.
Yeah.
My shit's the stupidest stuff in the world. Like, why are you doing that?
That's thought-provoking stuff, and it's little things that, as a creator, you don't always notice yourself. It's when someone else comes in and goes, ooh, and starts thinking about your work in a way that you weren't thinking about it.
Yeah. And, like, there was a reason for the negative thing. It wasn't just an aesthetic choice, but I just like to hear what other people are saying as well. And I the negative look was just to kind of present Aberdeen and everything in a new way.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, one of the main reasons. And I think a film that's shot and looks as weird as Oldborough does, it's very weird, as you can testify to, that's going to kind of stand out. And the fact that, like, it's shot in Aberdeen, I don't know, there's something, I'm like, well, like, every other like city has like their films that are shot there, like their local films, and we do too. We have One Day Removals, and now we've got like a bunch of other ones, and we've got Oldborough. And Oldborough's trying to just be something that's really weird, experimental, unique. Sorry, I ramble a lot, but like
go
I'm
for
just
it,
trying
this is what
to
we're here for. This is the creative side of things that I think a lot of people don't realise is here in Aberdeen, because you are a unique individual. There's no getting away from that. And your experience has been, we haven't even touched on the time spent studying in the States and educating and working over there. But you're not an atypical representation of creativity in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
But you are 100% a representation of what creativity should be in Aberdeen, if you ask me. Like, my opinion counts for very little out there. The audience will testify this. But I believe that Aberdeen needs to have a passionate approach to something. And creativity is a massive thing for it, because it's so all-encompassing.
Yeah.
That you go creativity, film, audio, theatre, documentary, there's so much that falls under that umbrella that you as a passionate individual contribute so much to it.
And well, thank you so much for saying that. That means a lot, man. And what you're doing here is fucking outstanding as well. Like, it's really cool. But just, like, we in Aberdeen, we're not getting the opportunities that are afforded to other places in Scotland. So people are making weird and wonderful stuff that kind of just showcases how desperate we are, how much we want to get our voice out there, because it's always stuff that's really quite unique.
Yes.
And I actually think it's probably, a lot of stuff is maybe more unique than what some of the other cities are providing.
Oh, God.
Just because we're not getting that mainstream opportunity, so we're kind of just making opportunities for ourselves, and I think that's it's a good thing. It would be good to have an infrastructure.
Yeah.
Of course it would. I think some organisations that are trying to start an infrastructure in Aberdeen have ulterior motives.
Yeah.
For themselves mainly. But it would be good to have something as well. I don't think like you either are wanting Aberdeen to be like Glasgow.
I don't want Film City up.
No.
I want Aberdeen to have its own identity. I want it to, I say have its own identity. It has one. I want Aberdeen to have an opportunity to showcase its own identity.
Yeah.
I want a hub that allows us all to say, this is what Aberdeen has, this is what Aberdeen does, this is what Aberdeen produces. And especially at the very end of it, to not say the words energy or oil and gas.
Yeah.
I am sick and tired of hearing those things after 40 years in this bloody city.
40?
The bend.
You're 40?
I'm 41, mate.
I thought, oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm 41.
Good for your age.
I'm 41. Yeah, I've shaved. I've got rid of most of the grey hairs out of the beard this morning. But I think Aberdeen needs something like that, because it's not a case of just going, you know, yeah, like you say, we don't want to be the next Glasgow or Edinburgh when it comes to these kind of things. We have our own identity. And films like Oldborough are showcasing what Aberdeen has in its creative individuals, as well as what it has as a city. I think that's a great thing to do for it, mate. You're doing a lot to showcase Aberdeen as a whole on the creative side of things. And not just with your work that you're producing, but with the people who are involved with it as well.
That's the thing. Like, although we do have people from elsewhere who are in Oldborough,
Yeah.
like that production crew was all Aberdeen.
Yeah.
The editing's all Aberdeen. Like, do you know what I mean? We're keeping it as local as possible.
Yeah.
We do have Frylock from Aquatine Hunger Force in Oldborough, which
Fair.
he's not from Aberdeen, but
Still, if you can have them in. I mean, it's not just them, though. There's one other relatively big name that may be connected to Oldborough in some way that you were mentioning before we got started.
All right, so like,
This may get cut out depending on what the email is that comes by.
This may get cut, but like last night I like got Eric Roberts' agent's like email address,
Yeah.
and I looked at Eric Roberts' like IMDb page, and bro's been in like 800 films.
Yes.
And I was like, good Jesus, like I wonder if he'll be in Oldborough. So like I was like messaging and gotten back and forth, and it looks like he's going to be recording his scenes relatively soon. So I don't know. I'm looking at Eric Roberts, and yeah, he's not like an Aberdeen local, obviously.
No.
But why would I turn down that opportunity?
If you have the opportunity to have someone like Eric Roberts involved, why would you say no to it if it's a chance?
Well, it's
do
just
it.
like, that's Julia Roberts' brother. Julia Roberts' brother is potentially in Oldborough. That's just hilarious. Like,
For this young lad from Peterhead who's come along and made his own film to potentially have Julia Roberts' brother.
I know, and it's like, I was just looking at his career and I was like, damn, The Dark Knight to Oldborough, that's a tragedy. But
The old Dark Knight. There we go.
I just think that's great. But you know what, like, into like, often with films like Oldborough and stuff, like, we laugh at it because it is ridiculous and there's like a tongue-in-cheekness, but there's also this like pure sincerity to the work. Like, because we're not doing things like totally like ironically or anything. We're super sincere about films we do. And we love the jankiness. Do you know what I mean? We love the sort of scratchy nature of like independent film. And you go back and look at like 28 Days Later and how like rough and ready that film is. Although it did have like quite a big budget. Yeah. Compared to Oldborough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That sort of like, that aesthetic I love. And I just think that's that sort of Dogma 95 kind of like experimental feeling. I just love that. And I have a pure, just like sincere love for that sort of stuff. And I think that's one thing that's really important in like modern filmmaking and in modern creatives. Like, people are so scared to be seen as like sincere and passionate now. There always has to be like this sort of like ironic edge to it. Yeah. And I don't think there needs to be. And I think Oldborough, from what I've seen so far, if it had more of that like irony in it, it would kind of take away from what it actually is. Yeah. Or at least if we approached it in that kind of manner and didn't go like in with our hearts, hearts our sleeve, basically. You know, and I just love film and I just love creating. And I'm lucky that there are so many great creatives in Aberdeen. I'm lucky that I know them and that I get introduced to them through the college, especially. That's a beautiful thing, because, you know, you meet some students and you're like, damn, they're going to go off and make something sick.
That was going to be a question from my side, was how important do you think it is for colleges, not universities and not even schools, because school does a lot of social media classes and media in general and all that stuff now. How important do you think college is to developing creatives? Because a lot of people think, it's go to university and learn the technical side. College teaches you the technical side, but I think for me, anyway, from what I found, and you can see it from a different side, college gives people the confidence to take their ideas and actually do something with them. It's not about always understanding exactly how the camera that you're using works. It's not always about understanding exactly the lighting, or they'll teach you that.
Yeah.
But they teach you a lot about, do you have an idea? Right, let's get you the confidence to go out and make that idea. How important do you think colleges are to developing creatives as a whole?
I think it's really important. Like, it's very much dependent on who the person is.
Yeah.
And what type of learner they are and what they're ready to kind of experience in life. But it is super beneficial for a lot of people, because not only everything you were just saying is completely correct, but you'll also just meet some really, like, interesting people. And you never know, like, what they're going to go off and do.
Yeah.
And it's super important.
Yeah.
And the environment is great. It's a lot more lax than school, obviously. Yeah. Like, there's still a professional, educational environment. But I think film studies really benefits colleges because, like, education is meant to often be, like, you're meant to make it fun for the students to learn. And it's so much easier with film because it's so much fun.
Yep.
And, I would never say I'm probably, like, I don't know if I'd be, like, the greatest teacher in the world, but I like to be a teacher that lets students experiment and lets them have fun. Like, I'll teach them all the technical stuff and the theoretical stuff. But what's often interesting is when, like, a student has, like, a sort of different reading or approach to the theoretical stuff that I'm presenting, and you see them implement it in a practical way for one of their films, and you're like, oh, actually, you're doing something pretty unique there. Yeah. I like that. You've learned the theory, you know what it means, you're subverting it, or you're using it in a way that makes sense to you. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I can confirm from the student side, obviously, we clashed. There's no getting away from it. There were times where you and I clashed, but it's never got in the way of respect for what the other person does.
Yeah, like.
And I think that, like, your approach to things, I think you were still, like, the first time you taught me, you were still relatively new into NESCOL. I think you were still just...
Well, I'd been there for a few years, but I'd never taught anything of that ilk before. So I was just doing video production before.
Yeah.
And then I went to do whatever
the first thing you did for me was when I was on the intro course. It was movie reviews we were doing with you for a while.
I remember.
That was the first thing that we did, because I ended up doing mine on, I think it was a Justice League animated movie or something. And then I started posting movie reviews to YouTube randomly for 6 months afterwards, because I thought, hey, you've got me thinking about doing a thing randomly, and it worked.
Funny enough, you mentioned that class because Liam Gamble's in Oldborough.
Yes. good old Mr. Shout out Liam Gamble for being probably the weirdest and yet still oddly successful individual that I think I've ever come across. He's a weird human being, but I've got so much time for him. He's an extra one to throw in. But yeah, your approach to things certainly gets, like you say, you teach the technical aspect of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's that passion that the likes of yourself and Sarah have for filmmaking and creativity as a whole that I think inspires a lot of the people at NESCOL to do something with it afterwards. I don't think there's anyone who comes through your creative classes or Sarah's creative classes that doesn't maintain some form of creativity in their career going forward. Very few people will come out of, like, your film classes and then work in an office doing finance. You know what I mean?
That's a really nice thing to hear, because I do love seeing, like, when students have went off and graduated and I can see the stuff that they're making.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, good for you. Like, really good for you. I'm really happy for you. And that's the thing. Like, I don't see a sense of accomplishment in myself, but because it's their effort. They're the ones that did it. I just gave them the tools. But I do feel like such a good feeling. I'm, like, quite proud. I'm like, yes, that's one of mine.
Well, as well you should, because I think it's a credit to what you actually do. Now, your own path through education was obviously slightly different. As part of your... Was it when you were at uni, you ended up going and studying over in the States for...
Yeah, so I was at RGU and got offered a study abroad.
Yes, that counts.
Placement in Northern California.
Yeah.
Humboldt State University was what it was called at the time.
Okay.
It's now Cal Poly University. which
So
is...
sounds really technical and worthwhile changing the name for.
Oh, well, it's been a disaster, the fact that the college has turned into, like, a polytechnic, but that's a whole other thing. But anyway, so, like, I went to the uni in America and did, like, film and stuff, and it was really fun, and it was getting time to go home, and then I met someone who was like, well, you're really into film. My mom works at Nickelodeon at the minute. Would you like to do like a little like voluntary thing there or whatever the offer was? I'm not going to say no to that.
Yeah.
So I went and lived in Los Angeles with her mum for about 6 months. And for a few months she was working at Nickelodeon on a show called Night Squad.
Yeah.
And I was like a production assistant, and that was basically like my third year of uni.
Yeah.
I was working on that project because it was like the study abroad year and your work placement year.
Yeah.
So like I wasn't at RGU that entire year.
Yeah.
I was at Nickelodeon. I didn't see any of the bad stuff just before like you get there.
I'm saying nothing. Don't worry, we'll skip past that.
Well, the only weird thing I ever really saw at Nickelodeon was Raven's Home was filming across the road. So that's like a That's So Raven like spin-off. And the lady I was staying with, she used to bring her dog to work. Just, okay. And she was like, can you take the dog a walk? And you can just walk around outside. It was Sunset Del Plaza, something like that.
Yeah.
Del Playa, whatever the studio was. And I was like walking the dog. And it was like this fluffy, I can't remember. It looked like a Bichon Frise.
Oh, the Bichon. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that sort of thing.
Small, stereotypical Hollywood, California style
Yeah.
fluffy dog. Yeah,
And, you know, just walking around, and I was like, getting ready to go back to whatever soundstage Night Squad was on. And then, like, Raven Simone just, like, appears. Like, she's just there. Like, as if she just spawned just in front of me. And I'm like, I didn't even say anything. Like, I just kind of, like, looked, and I was like, oh, hi. And then she, like dead eyes me as I'm, like, just standing there with this cute dog. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then she just, like, drops to the floor like a ton of bricks. And I was like, what is going on? And she's just, like, petting the dog, like, really aggressively. And she's, like, really into this dog. And she's like, oh, you're a cutie. I was going to do an accent.
I was going to say the accent won't work.
Oh, God, no. That'll bring back, like, Fedora of Ties energy. But I was just, like, letting her kind of pet the dog. How long would you say is, like, an appropriate time to let her pet the dog before it gets, like, too awkward?
I mean, if there's no real interaction between you and the person petting the dog and you're the one walking the dog, I'd be like a minute at most is kind of before there has to be some form of engagement, interaction.
Well, like, so, yeah, it was about 2 minutes, and I was just kind of like, she's just sitting there, and I was like, yeah, Bella's cute, or whatever the dog was called. Bella, I think was the name.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, gotta go. And then she was like, she's like, 1 more minute. And I'm like, well, do I say no to Raven Simone? Is that like, can you say no to Raven Simone when you're in like a tween sitcom studio environment? Isn't she like the queen of this?
Just doubting yourself the entire time going, I want to go, but I have no power here.
But I was like, okay, I'm gonna like head back. And like Raven Simone like almost like gripped the dog, and I kind of was like almost like dragging Raven Simone and the dog back, and she was just going, no, I want to pet him. And I was like, no, I've got to go.
I have to go now.
She just would not leave me. So this was like a really weird 5-minute interaction. I know that doesn't sound long, but when you're like, when you've got a dog and Raven Simone like grabbing that dog, and you're dragging both said dog and Raven Simone across a Hollywood studio lot.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It feels very long. And like I went back, and I was just like, you'll never guess what happened. And then the director was just like, or the lady I was staying with, she was kind of just like, I'm not interested. I'm too busy. I'm like, okay, whatever.
You're like, well, that's staying with me for a while. I am interested, and I am not letting go of this.
Well, I've always like, I've always wanted to like write that into something because it's such a good story.
Yeah.
It's such an awkward like, because she did just kind of like leave. Like after I was dragging, she just kind of stood up and just exited. She didn't say bye, or she didn't say like bye to the dog even. Just like, maybe I scraped her knee when I was dragging her. I don't know, but she just like got up.
How far away had you pulled her from where she was actually going?
Honestly, probably the length of this room, which isn't big, but that's
It's a fair distance
to drag a grown woman and a dog. Is quite a bit, especially when you're like a skinny dweeb.
Just dragging Raven Simone across the park.
It's just like such a strange.
Oh, that's well. There's the first YouTube clip for this week, guaranteed.
Well, like,
oh, it's brilliant.
But stuff like that, like that's what I love about like creativity as well. Is like the fact that it gives you an outlet to sort of recreate things that happened in your real life.
Yeah.
Or like reinterpret them or something like that. Because I've always wanted to write that into Oldborough.
Try and find a way of fitting it into something that you're making.
Well, not just Oldborough, just anything.
Yeah.
But like I used to work at Peterhead Prison.
Yeah.
So I was a teacher there, which was about a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Best job I've ever had next to the college. It was amazing. And I met some truly unique individuals.
Oh god, yeah, I can imagine some interesting stories coming out of there.
Oh, just like fucking carnage sometimes. It was actually like a really, really like mature prison in the sense there wasn't anything that like crazy compared to some of the other ones, or especially the old Peterhead prison.
Yeah,
there's a lot calmed down since then. But just like when I was writing Oldborough, I was just sort of thinking like, because it's basically this film about this junkie dude called Davy who is stuck in Oldborough. He can't leave, and all his friends are leaving, and all his friends were the old town local legends who have kind of outgrown that, you know, and he can't accept that. There's a haggis in the woods that says, if you feed them to me, I will shit them out, fertilize Oldborough with them, and new local legends will grow from it. So that's kind of the plot. And I had to write like obviously like a lot of side characters, like a lot of like just like local Jakey, Ned characters.
Fair.
And to be fair, like some people from the prison provided such good inspiration for that, because like some of the stuff they would tell me, man, like it's just like the wildest stuff.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like just the way they spoke to each other is kind of just like really inspired the dialogue for Oldborough. Because I just remember. Nah, it's up to you if you want to include this. But I remember there was this guy, and there was these two guys I was taking, I think, for their induction. So we're doing the stuff on the computer that they had to do. And the other one looks at him and says, you know, the typical, so what you in for?
Aye.
And he's like, oh, I stabbed the guy. And he goes, oh, okay. Just like no real reaction to it. He says to the other guy, what did you do? He goes, I killed my dad with a hammer. And you're just like, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then the dude asked him, he was like, why'd you do that? And he was like, we got into like an argument. And he goes, well, these things happen. And I'm like, well, do they?
Do they?
Do you just like kill people with hammers? I love that.
Yeah, that's the kind of approach you would expect that kind of area, not area as Peterhead, but an area within a prison.
Peterhead's fair as well.
Fair, yeah. I'm trying not to be too. No, it's accurate. As much as I go, I don't want to alienate the audience. It's accurate. People in Peterhead know it.
But I love that about Peterhead. It's such an interesting place. It's such a wild.
Get that as a location for creative things to happen, though, in Aberdeen is another part of it, because it's such a weird, unique aesthetic to Peterhead.
Yeah, I don't think like I'd be the way I am if I didn't grow up in Peterhead. I think if I genuinely grew up in Aberdeen, I'd be a lot different. Peterhead, I mean, it forms you. Yeah. It's such a unique place, and you know, it's part of the Shire.
Yeah,
and it's such a big component of the Shire, and I think it's it's a bit rough and ready in some areas, but I think that's what I love about it.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't change Peterhead for the world. A lot about Peterhead I would probably change, but.
The core of Peterhead would probably always need to remain the same for it to be as good as it is.
Like Peterhead's like what like it sort of just seems to exist in its own like
it's got its own little stratosphere going to itself.
It's in the Shire, but you're walking around and like you could go down one street and it's like a scene from like Freddy Got Fingered. Like it's just like no one bats an eye at it.
Yeah.
And that to me is just like so beautiful and so inspiring. Like creatively, I'm like. Just the energy of Peterhead. Yeah. It brings so much out of me.
Yeah. Can imagine. It's a unique place. But you obviously draw a lot of inspiration from, you know, your own experiences, your own time that you've spent. Peterhead, city centre, over in the States. do you still get out of Aberdeen to like other creative events, other creative conferences, other summits? We were at the Aberdeen Cultural Summit a few weeks ago, but obviously there's a multitude of different things that go on in Scotland and in the UK when it comes to these summits and events and creative festivals. You still get a chance to travel around and go to some of these as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed. And I'll tell you a bit of a story.
Go on then.
So, to answer the question first, yes, I do, and I'm always pitching my work. Just wrote this. Am I all right to like pitch a project?
Yeah,
not pitch a project, but just kind of tell people.
If it's something that you're happy for the public to know, by all means.
So there's two major projects that I'm working on, and this relates to the convention story. One is called Lock Hands, which is basically a body horror film that's told in separate, like told out of order.
Okay.
And it's basically about this group of friends who go to this loch where they know there's this monster in the loch that if they swim with it and let it observe them for what their deepest desires are, it will literally manifest it in the loch for them.
Okay.
And so basically it's like a drug for them almost, because they're getting really like euphoric off of it. And basically they keep going back to the loch time and time again because they're like, holy shit, like whatever we want, we can just like spawn in the loch.
Chasing those highs.
But the moment they try and stop because it's getting a bit too much for them, they begin to turn into these like fish-like creatures with like gills and webbed hands that need to be in the loch to survive.
Okay.
So that's like as much of the plot as I can share.
Yeah.
Because it is doing pretty well at the minute. But if anyone's interested in funding that,
Yes.
I'll put my email below.
Yeah, I was going to contact details are in the description down below this.
But anyway, so I was invited to pitch the project at this convention in Motherwell.
Okay.
God knows why in Motherwell.
Just why not?
I was in that place. Mother isn't looking too well. I mean...
Motherwell, no, is the answer.
Well, I went there, pitched my idea. I won't say the name at the conference, but went really well. You know, people liked the idea.
Yeah.
But there was a woman who went up before me because basically there was 5 of us chosen in Scotland to present the idea. I don't know how many applied actually, but I was last. There was a woman before me, very like, very blonde woman, like just. You might need to cut that.
I was gonna just bleep over the top of it.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And airheady. That's a better term, airheady. And she's like presenting her idea, and there's someone like making noise in the back of the room, like grumbling and like almost like gargling. And I was like, I didn't really think too much of it at the time, but I was like, what is that noise?
Yeah.
And this like person, it was a person making this noise, and she just like walks out the room as this woman's presenting her idea. Turns out that the idea that the woman was presenting on stage was the woman in the audience's idea. And she'd written a script for it. The woman went up on stage and pitched it as her own. And she was like, yeah, this idea, I came up with it, blah, blah, blah. And she was sharing details about the script. And she was saying, yeah, I've got, I think she was pitching a show. I've got the first season planned out, blah, blah, blah. And this woman's getting increasingly angry. And only like afterwards I realized why.
Yeah.
These two like clashed. She was like, you stole my idea. And it was like wild. And I mean like, I don't know like how family friendly you try to keep your podcast, but even if you like could say anything, I still think I'd be like, oh, I don't know if I can say that.
Push that limit.
Because like what they were like, it was wild. And fair enough.
Yeah, passion for your project, I suppose that's fair.
I just thought like, how did you think you were going to get away with it?
Yeah. Did she know that the other woman was in the audience at the time?
She had no clue.
If she'd known that the woman was in the audience, I think I would have probably just given her a round of applause for having the gall to pitch that.
I mean, it takes some balls, doesn't it? But you know...
By the way, I have this idea, making eye contact with her the entire time.
Funny thing is, the woman stayed for the woman pitching the idea, she stayed for the sandwiches, which was pretty like funny. I quite liked that. I was like, yeah, you've got some balls on you.
You've gone to all this effort. You've committed to the bit now.
And I just like, that's just so funny to me. But yeah, I do try and go out as much as possible.
Yeah.
I want to show you something,
Uh-oh.
actually, because I worked on this film in Wales earlier this year.
Okay.
It was an exorcist comedy called Holy Rollers, directed by a guy called Jake Goddard, who's a very talented Welsh filmmaker.
Okay.
Film is done pretty well, actually, and I'm actually really proud of Jake and the crew for the whole production.
Yeah.
And a newspaper called the Penarth Times did an article on it. And bear in mind, I was the like associate producer, script supervisor. I had a few roles on this film.
Yeah.
And I'm in this crew picture, by the way, but look at what they used on the website. They cut me out. I'm the only one that's like not on screen. You can see my sleeve.
You're just off to the side.
Well, when that photo was being taken, I was saying, because the photographer was like doing that to me, and I was like, are you sure? Like, I'm going to be well off.
I'm going to be off to the edge. I'm not even near anyone else. Okay.
And then I'm like the only person not photographed. And I was like, God damn it, bro.
It's just the sleeve at the side going, that was me.
At least you know it's me, because I'm always wearing like flannel, apart from today, like the one time.
Flannel is like your signature thing.
But
multiple varieties of colours of flannel.
Exactly, but I love to like go and help out like other filmmakers and stuff.
Yeah.
Just see what's going on there. Like see what's going what the fuck's going on in Penarth?
Yeah. What is this? What is going on down here? Dunno. Can I go find out?
Do you know what? It's an exorcist comedy.
Yeah.
And you know what? From doing that, that's where I found Aaron Jeffcoat, who is the character of Davy in Oldborough.
See, this is the importance of, I suppose that's kind of like networking for the film creative side of things, is just getting out to other productions, being on set, helping in ways that you can, obviously making them aware that you're there, you know, get in contact with people first. Don't just rock up to a production set that you know is happening and be like, hello, I'm here to help. Maybe give them a bit of a heads up beforehand.
Yeah. You could, there's always postings on like different Facebook groups or wherever. Like that's where you'll find the really interesting jobs is on like the Facebook pages. And that's where I met Jake. So,
is there anywhere that you would like recommend for people who are either starting out in their own production or looking to get involved in smaller independent productions? Is like Facebook the place where there's a lot of independent groups? Is there anywhere else that you think is worthwhile looking?
It's definitely the most easily accessible. Do you know what I mean? Facebook. There's probably like a few other places. Often you'll see like film societies at the universities, and you don't need to be part of the university to join them. So they're also like a good opportunity to get some experience. You've got, every city does the 48-hour film festival.
Yeah.
That's a great opportunity. And just look at this, like if you are wanting to get experience and you are wanting to make a go at it, like email like local production companies. You never know what they could be working on and they might go, yeah, I mean, chances are they probably won't. But you never know. Like that, you've got to be optimistic in film, especially, or in the creative industries in general, because there's so much rejection, and there's so much, but you don't even get the decency of being rejected. You just get ignored.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, getting aired, ghosted, and ignored is the most demoralizing part of getting started with stuff. Yeah,
so like I would say my main bit of advice is don't be sort of put off by the rejection. Yeah. Because like I'm sure even projects Steven Spielberg pitches gets rejected. Do you know what I mean? So like you need to have a thick skin and just understand that it happens to pretty much everyone. Yep. And it might happen less in Aberdeen if we start getting more opportunities here. You know, and as we said, we're not talking about the BBC ones. We're talking about the ones that we're making. Yeah. The ones that are going on here, them getting a bit more backing behind them so that they can work with the creatives of Aberdeen. Like, how amazing would that be? I do a show where I used to do a show on public access in the States. And, like, I always thought, like, who the hell watches this? Which was why I just did, like, this weird experimental thing. Yeah. Where it was just me in my basement, in my attic, talking to Scott. It was, I ain't gonna say the name.
Fair.
But
Don't want people looking and finding those.
But it's on. Well, I don't know. It might be on Internet Archive. I'm not too sure.
It's on the internet. Someone will find it somewhere.
But
it's never gone forever.
But anyway, that had such like a good those like public access stations. They had like a really weird community to them.
Yeah.
Like you had people like uploading shows weekly. You had people making little films for them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, start looking in different places.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you're looking on LinkedIn and Glassdoor or whatever like those job websites are, of course you're going to be demoralized by what's on offer and what's expected.
And by the 5,000 other people all vying for the same opportunity.
Exactly. And I don't even know. There used to be public access in Aberdeen. It used to be Aberdeen Cable, I'm pretty sure was or Atlantic Cable.
Yeah.
But even like...
It was Atlantic Telecom, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But just like something that kind of feels like that, where it's just like a lot of local creatives, like being like a little collective together.
Yeah.
But also existing independently of that collective.
Yeah. My dream has always been to have, I mean, obviously we have this space here for recording stuff, and we've offered it up to students at NESCOL if they want to come and sit and record a podcast of their own. I know you do interview stuff in your class as well, so if people ever wanted a space to sit down and do their interview and make it feel like a professional talking head style thing, the space is here for them to come and use, and we're not charging them for it. But my dream is to have a big enough space that we can just have a venue where it's almost like an open desk policy type thing. It's for creatives to just come in, sit, have a coffee, chat, make stuff, do stuff, and just have that base level. Not necessarily a studio, but a hub where creatives can go, sit, and like a creative cafe almost.
Yeah, and that's such a cool idea, and like I wish you all the best for it, and I'm sure you'll have the know-how to pull it off.
I've got the determination to pull it off, even if I don't have the know-how to do it.
Well, actually, that's even more important. Like, I don't know how the fuck to make films. Just like, got people who do. Do you know what I mean?
Surround yourself with people who know the things you don't. That's how you make
Exactly. It's all about, like, even as a director, man, you got to be an actor. You got to look like you know what's happening.
You've got to fire into it. Well, listen, Rod, you've got so much passion and direction for what you're doing that I can't tell you enough just how much that means to the creative community as a whole in this city.
Oh.
Because I came through the college. I know you as a lecturer from that side of things, but having had the likes of Kieran on here, working with Callum on some of the projects that he's done, following you on your socials and seeing a lot of the work and the time and that connection that you make with not just your audience for what you're making, but the people on your crews that are doing things for you is a testament to your own passion and your own direction that you're doing, mate. So it's a massive thank you for what you do for the creative industry in Aberdeen.
Well, I really appreciate that. Like, that means the world. You know what I mean? Like, hearing that is just so nice. And I love the fact that you're offering an opportunity to showcase that creativity. You're offering an opportunity to sort of like come talk about it and promote it. And I think that's really important, because it's like you're the dedicated sort of person to do it in Aberdeen, and I quite like that. Yeah,
it's not something that there's a lot of in Aberdeen, and we want to give an opportunity. Obviously, we are, folks say, it's for local businesses, it's for local individuals. We don't promote a business.
Yeah.
If people are here as part of a business, cool, but I still want to know more about them than I do about their business.
Yeah, like, absolutely.
That's what we aim for, and that's what we're hopefully achieving. If anyone out there has suggestions for people to come on future episodes, or if you're a creative yourself who wants to come on a future episode and sit and chat, Bailey McKenzie shot his shoot and chat and that thing. He came on and sat down with us. He's from Edinburgh originally, but he's made creative stuff, and we thought, screw it, come on and sit and chat to us. Our email address is down below, or you can just leave a comment on here with your details and we'll get in contact with you. Anything else you want to mention before we wrap things up for today?
I'm not too sure.
In that case, we're going to have to drag you back in for a second episode for season 2.
Hey, listen, I'd love to do a season 2, man. I'd love to, absolutely.
Well, season 2 is aimed for the beginning of the winter period, so around about the start of December time is what we're aiming at just now.
That's what you're aiming.
We might end up just going, screw it, we're not doing seasons, and just keep this running permanently as a weekly episodic thing. We'll see how we go.
I think that's a cool way to go about it. And I mean, with Obra, I think we're going to be done beginning, and I mean January 2026. Yeah. I think that's when we're going to be done. So like, and I'd love to invite you to the premiere.
Oh, I will be there with bells, not literally with bells on, because that's distracting in an audience. But I will be there regardless.
You know, and like, I just think.
In fact, hang on, before I even get anything else from you, before you wrap up, tangential as this thing always does, you had something that you were going to come back to earlier. You had a story for us at some point, and we never got to it. Before I wrap this up, pause on the ending. Story time with Ross. What? I'm going to come back randomly to it. What was this story you were going to share with us?
How funny would it be if I went, I forgot. I don't remember.
Story? I had a story, did I? I don't know. I knew nothing about that.
I think there's a moral lesson to the story. I always think, I've had a strange life, met some strange people, and I often like to think, well, maybe there's a lesson I was meant to learn behind it.
Fair.
So you can help me interpret this, whatever the lesson of this is.
Okay. Interpretation hat is now on.
So, when it came to getting involved, I was meant to bring this up when I was talking about Scott, but we were trying to get money for getting involved. You know, it was our first thing. We didn't know anything about filmmaking and really how to get like the funds and stuff, which shows that uni was a success. But we met this dude who, I don't know what, I can see on your shoes, I can see the Joker. So
yes.
I'm gonna call him the Joker.
Okay.
Because that's a very appropriate name for this producer. So Joker was a guy I just knew.
Yeah.
And he was in film, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna reach out to him, see if he wants to make something. So he invites me and Scott to this networking event.
Fair. Now,
I don't know, like, usually I'd be like, well, I don't know if I really want to go to that, but you know what?
Yeah.
See what happens. I like meeting new people. I didn't even see it as a moment to promote myself. I was just like, I could just meet some interesting people. So he's like, it's going to be a barbecue. There's going to be people from the industry there. And it was out beside Bucky Farm.
Okay. I know where you're at.
But it was in like... So, he gave us the address, and my dad drove us. My dad drove us to this, like, dilapidated mansion. And my dad's like, is this it?
Are you sure?
And there was an old mill at the other side of the house, but it was all run down. It looked like castle ruins. And we're like, this can't be it. So my dad, like, thinks he has to go further, so he like drives into the garden of this house and is just going around in his big ass Vauxhall, just driving around this dude's back garden until we saw Joker appear at the window, and we're like, oh shit! We've just been like, we just tore up this guy's garden,
just been driving around this guy's garden and ripping up each one. Yeah, it's fine.
But anyway, he's like, oh yeah, yous are here for the barbecue, and he seemed confused to see us, and we're like, yeah, and he was like, well, this is everyone. And he just points at himself. And I'm like, what do you mean this is everyone? There's meant to be more than you. And he was like, oh, no, it's just me tonight. And this was it could have even been late October, early November.
Oh, Jesus.
For a barbecue in Aberdeen.
Perfect weather. Yeah.
So he's like, okay, what I want to do is we'll have the barbecue. We thought we were just going to have it indoors at that point. So he takes us into and you can ask Scott about this, he takes us into the ruins. And there's like arrows everywhere. Like as in like bow and arrows.
Oh,
and we're like, what's with the arrows? And he looks at us and he's like, and I don't know if he said this as a joke or what, but he looked me dead in the fucking eye and is like, sometimes I like to shoot foxes and bask in the moonlight. And I'm like, what? Who speaks like that?
Where am I?
Like, would you? All right. Oh, I guess that's that answer.
Oh, well, so the barbecue is us.
Well, so we're having the barbecue. It's pouring rain. Obviously, barely staying. There's barely any fire. And it was this old mill, like it just like dilapidated, and we're in the middle of it. And there was like graffiti everywhere. I couldn't work out what the graffiti said. Kind of glad, because I'm just like, that would have freaked me out even more.
I'd have been lost.
And he's like, so we're like, okay, we're getting food from a producer. He's giving us food and drink, whatever. Everything was raw. And I mean, like, it was still mooing, kind of raw.
It walked onto your plate.
Yeah. And I remember, like, he was just sitting there. He was on like a different planet the whole time. And I'm like, I took a bite of my burger and I'm like, shit, it's raw. And I didn't want to say anything because I just wanted to get the meal over with. So like, I tossed my burger behind me and I was like, oh, beautiful.
Lovely.
Because I knew he wouldn't notice. But Scott had his burger and he just goes into the fire with it. Rather than like tossing it behind, he just goes, and all you can see is just suddenly, because he like hit the fucking stones or the sticks or something and it just scared the shit out of everyone. Except Joker, he didn't react to the flames. And then he looks at us and he's like, all right, now we're on to the chicken. And I was like, nah, not fucking having raw chicken.
No.
So me and Scott leave and we're like, that was weird. We didn't talk about the film once. We didn't talk about anything like related to it. Every time we try to get onto the film, he would talk about how much he loved like Zack Snyder's Justice League cut, which just came out at the time. So that could actually date it when it happened. Okay. Or it was like a few months after it came out.
Yeah.
And he's just going on and on. We're like, what are we doing here? Like, did we just come here to hear you talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League and eat raw beef? Because I'm not up for that.
That's not why I came out this way.
But anyway, so he invited us for the barbecue. This producer, this Joker. Me and Scott are on the car. Dad's driving us home. And we both get an invoice for £30. And we're like, what's that for? So I message him and he's like, yeah, that's for the barbecue. And I'm like, but we brought food and drinks and you invited us telling us it was a networking event and you're charging us 30 quid each.
It's like, I had no ticket price, but you must
get to France. Get to Fraserburgh. That should be the phrase on this show. Version. Get to Fraserburgh.
Get to the bro.
But I just thought that takes some fucking gall to do that.
Some proper gumption.
And I always wondered, I think God was trying to teach me a lesson with that guy. I think he's just, I don't know what the moral lesson behind that is.
There's a bit of morality in there somewhere. My interpretation, humanity's screwed.
Well, yeah.
That's the stage where that's someone has clearly got an idea for a film, and I think you were actually part of it. I give it, like you say, it might date it from when he was talking about Snyder's Justice League. Give it another year or so, we may see something get released to the mainstream media that's actually footage of you guys having a barbecue. That's why he didn't react. The flames boosted. He was in character the entire time.
Well, he must still be in character. Whenever I do see him, he's still just like that. I think that...
Still just staring into the flames.
Just... You know what? Maybe the lesson is, don't have beef with a Joker.
There you go. Definitely. Never say yes to a Joker's beef.
That's... I'm going to get that on my gravestone, bro.
And that's a tangent that will definitely wrap up a podcast episode. Say no to Joker's beef. We'll be back next week with another episode of Seasonal Discussions. Links to all our content and to where you can find Ross and his film so far are in the description down below. If you or anyone you know wants to be involved in a future episode, get in contact with us. info@sznmedialtd.co.uk. It's Season Media Limited, but I always say SZN Ltd because...
Yeah.
Laziness.
And if there is one piece of my films that you want to check out, the one I would start with is You'll Be Hurt When I'm Done.
Yeah, which again, the link to watch will be down below because I've been online and watched it and you should too.
Oh, God, you've watched it?
Yeah.
Oh, dear God. What did you think?
I was keeping an eye on it when you were posting saying that it was coming out because it was on, I was going to say Fawa News. That's the website where I watch. Fossum, thank you, because I had issues signing into Fossum to start with and it wouldn't let me log in. Hopefully you don't experience the same issues. We'll see you in next week's episode. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.